We are now returning, and we are, God willing, finishing the essay from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. It was put into essay form, but it was a speech that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave to all of his thousands of followers on Shabbat. And like I was pointing out, right in 1991, Tafshin Nun Beit. This was about, I don't know, half a year or something before he had a stroke that rendered him, I guess a little bit less, 4 months something, before he became paralyzed and he couldn't speak. So these messages are very important to us because the Rebbe is stressing all the time that Mashiach must come now. And even though it's true, we've been waiting for like 2,000 years and being disappointed all that time. And it's even a sort of a mitzvah to be disappointed because we're supposed to wait for Mashiach constantly. The Maimonides brings that that's one of the 13 principles of Jewish faith, that Mashiach is going to come. And even though he delays, in other words, he's already inserting in there this sort of clause that even though that it doesn't come on time, Mashiach doesn't come on time, but we have to wait and expect him to come any minute. In other words, not to give up. But the commandment was not to wait for him to come. And then if he comes, we'll be disappointed because we won't have to wait anymore. Someone once told me that. And the commandment is that the Mashiach has to come right now. That's what it's supposed to be. And we have to do everything we can to bring him. And so that's what these speeches are all talking about, how we can change our attitude and our outlook to be more positive and more practical to facilitate the arrival of Mashiach now, not tomorrow or in another couple minutes, but it's supposed to be right now. And every minute that it doesn't come, we're supposed to be very disappointed. But that should not in any way lessen our expectations that he's going to come now. Exactly the opposite. If Mashiach has not come now, or he didn't come yesterday or the day before, how much more so he has to come immediately. And not that he should come tomorrow or that he should come right now. If it doesn't come now, so okay, they say tomorrow never comes. So Mashiach is supposed to come any moment. How it's going to be is going to come right now. What does it mean? Are we ready and everything? Okay, Mashiach will take care of that. He'll answer all the questions. But the main thing of Mashiach is that the world will change a little bit, but people's goals will change. Instead of people thinking about themselves, people will start to think about what God wants. And I don't think there can be any time that's more obvious that that's all that's missing than now. Here we just got attacked. What 1,400 people something were killed. I mean, I heard stories just so amazing. These Hamas guys, they came. First of all, they were accompanied by a lot of civilians over there that live in Gaza wanted to come with them and help in the mayhem and in the murder. And they actually went to places and put kids together and they set them in a big circle. They ordered them to, they told them, and they poured gasoline on them and they burnt them. And today there's 200 bodies that are unrecognizable. You can't there because they're burned. And so I guess they're children, so they haven't got DNA records. I don't know. And these are the people that the whole world wants to give. They say the Jews should leave Israel and give them the rulership over Israel. I mean, you can imagine what type of a country it's going to be. I mean, that's just insane. Well, the reason they're even here is because we gave them the land. So the whole thing just depends on our stupidity, on our mindset. Right? We gave them with free will. We're putting on ties and we're happy and pictures were taken, with Rabin giving away land and Sharon giving away land and Begin giving away land. Begin gave away more than anybody else. The whole thing is just mindset. The whole world wouldn't have any power over us if we just realized who we are. The Jewish people were the sons of God, we're the chosen people. Right? And the people that give away all the land in the government, they say that's our problem. We say we're the chosen people. That we have to do. So the Rebbe is trying to get us out of that ridiculous, how do you say, exile mindset that we've got our own country and we have our own army, and that's not. I mean, that's good, wonderful, but that's not ours. It's not ours. It belongs to God. The army belongs to God, and God could do it all himself. He just doesn't want to. He wants us to do it, but we have to do it. So that's what it means. We have to change our attitude. When we do that, the whole world will change their attitude. It's no less insane what the world wants to do and saying, the Palestinians are right. First of all, there's no such thing as Palestinians. Before 1949, there was no Palestinian country or government, or they didn't have a flag or an anthem or an army or even a power plant. They had nothing. There's no such thing. There was just a bunch of Arabs scattered around that basically nobody really wanted. And so they came over here. All of a sudden came the Zionists, and they said, no, there's the Palestinian nation, and we're going to make peace with them. We have to worry about what everybody says. So the whole thing is just mindset, where people minds are. And that's what the Rebbe wants to change. The Rebbe wants to change, first of all, to understand that God exists, and that God cares, and that God creates us, and that God made the Jews different. And the Jews have a job to educate the whole world that God is creating them, and that God loves them, everyone in the world. Okay, here we go. So, but what are we supposed to do exactly? Well, one of the things that God did to show he chose us is he gave us the Torah. One of the teachings for this whole business is Abraham was the preparation for the Torah. And how did he prepare for the Torah? By leaving everything that he had previously for the things that God wanted. And this, of course, is a never-ending process, and it requires a lot of positive thinking, a lot of courage, joy, and you have to know where you're going. You have to know what to do just to change. It doesn't make it change what you're supposed to change where you live, change wives, change jobs, right? That's not what he's talking about. We were supposed to change. You're supposed to change your enthusiasm, increase enthusiasm in serving the Creator with more genuineness, honesty, intimacy. Your relationship with Hashem should be an intimate one. One of the teachings for this is like this: each and every Jew, there's an obligation lech to go, the Torah, learning the Torah, to increase in it, like it says, lechadesh b'Torah, to reveal to discover new ideas in the Torah. To discover new ideas in the Torah. Afilu im Yehudi lamad, even if a Jew learned a lot of Torah, tamid always it's relevant that he should add on in Torah. Ad la'ofen shel chidush, that all of a sudden he discovers new ideas in the Torah. Shekein haTorah, the Torah hine believable, because the Torah is unlimited. Arucha me'eretz mirav rachava mina yom. Its measure is bigger than the earth and deeper, wider than the sea. It's in Job, sentence from Job. And even more, because the Torah is the wisdom of God. It's not just the wisdom of Moses or of the rabbis. It's the wisdom of God himself. So if the world is complicated, and it certainly is, and the world is wonderful, which it certainly is, and science is discovering all sorts of new quarks and who knows what nowadays, and levels of life and consciousness. Now they think maybe there's consciousness in other planets and things like that. Deeper and deeper, more diversified. So how much more so the Torah, which the Torah is the source of the world. Hari calling in, but Torah, everything in the Torah in itself, notain goes that gives the power, laholid odin yin chadashim, arein sof. Whereas the more Torah that you learn, the more all of a sudden your mind opens up, you get new ideas. There's a fellow, a friend of mine, all the time he's getting these new ideas, new connections in the Torah. He says that there's, 19 sentences in the Akedah. That's what next week we'll learn. And that corresponds to the 19 blessings in Shmona Esrei. And he says exactly how it is. Right? Of course, okay, he's not an expert in all of the Torah, so it could be that some of these ideas are not exactly accurate. So he says, okay, so it's not accurate, but at least I made ideas, and I'm willing to accept if it's not accurate or not. But at least he's churning, and in the Torah is alive. In this Gufet says, Yitachnu kama ofanim. Yitachnu. There is possible that there are many ways of halicha going and making new ideas in the Torah. And in this, there's all sorts of different levels. First of all, there's learning Torah, lech lecha le'eretz asher areka. This is that you should just always learn Torah and find new ideas. Ela halicha emiti, but true going in the Torah, shehi davka b'shalo be'erach. This is unlimited. What does that mean, unlimited? Sheyotze legamri mimitzabovu regilaso akodmit. It goes totally out of his normal way of learning. Afilu even regilus to kedusha, even normal holy learning. There's a lot of rabbis that they sit and they learn Torah and they write ideas, and all of a sudden you see they write a new book that's just totally wonderful. Wonderful. This is true in the Talmud and the Midrash. Afilu regilus to kedusha, kolel, including the chidushim shechidus kodem, even before. Became mahalach hamachshava. Also, the way that a person thinks, shechashav kodem, that he thinks before. His whole way of thinking becomes different. Until he reaches the land that I show you, who megale otcha b'atzmacha, he reveals his true self. So the more a person goes out of himself, the more he reveals more his true self. In your being and in your essence, as kol all of his abilities. Gamshel kochotav and alamim, even the highest levels. Maybe I can give you an example. There's a lot of famous writers and musicians, composers. Just take an example, and painters that are tremendously talented, in their area, just genius. They call it genius. Just new ideas just flowing out, right? But in their personal lives, they were just terrible. They were like little babies. They just couldn't, improve in any other area except for their particular thing, in music and art and whatever. Okay, so music and art, that's good. It's wonderful. But on the other hand, the person has to improve, can find genius in everything, even in the most simple things. And you find there's simple people in the world that you find that they're geniuses in attitude toward the world, in how to accept difficulties, and how to help others. And similarly, Bekochot powers themselves. Lo rak gilui zayin midas, not only the revelation of the 7 emotions and the intellect, which is relevant to your emotions, but a whole new ideas. That's the whole idea of lech lecha ereka, to the land that I will show you. Maybe an example is that they say Moshiach is going to come and he's going to show all of these religions in the world that they're wrong. Now, all the religions in the world are tremendously deep, and there's big books that they write and all sorts of different ideas and different authors, and from generations back, all these, and they think about them, and there's lecturers, and there's people that are genius people. There were people that were popes, and they knew the whole entire Torah. They had tremendous, fantastic memories that they could memorize things. Even the Talmud they could memorize, but they couldn't come to the realization that they're mistaken. The whole thing is based on a big lie. They couldn't, because they couldn't have a new way of thinking. And that's what Mashiach is going to bring. He's going to bring a new way of thinking, but not just to these people that those religions are in a way obvious lies, because they're just denying the fact that God took the Jews out of Egypt and gave them the Torah and spoke to them publicly. They're trying to change it, whatever. It doesn't make any difference what. But the idea is also not just in them, which is an obvious, blatant mistake they're making, but also in each and every one of us, every Jew, every rabbi. The mistake is not so big and obvious. it's more fine, but nevertheless, it still is a lower way of thinking. And Mashiach is going to open people's minds. It says, "Lo yakanef od morecha," that we won't have to learn anymore. Well, people will get inspiration directly from God. Everybody in the Torah. That's true. That's what's called true new ideas in the Torah. Kasher hu megala, when he realizes, when you realize it in yourself, powers, abilities, talents that were hidden, intellect that was concealed, that nobody, including himself, lo yadav lo she'er, no could even possibly imagine that person had these abilities. Ad she mitpa'alim menayan lo yigia and yanimelo. Where did he get these ideas? Where did the person? These are genius ideas. Where did he get them from? He didn't know this. I talked to him yesterday. He wasn't. And all of a sudden, everybody in the world will suddenly be able to have no ideas. I mean, 99% of the world, like to take an example, anger. Why do people get angry? Usually they get angry because they have small minds. They just can't understand the situation and just they want to destroy it. It's just too much for them. But if people would understand that 99% of the situations that we're in are for our obvious benefit, and the other 1% is not for obvious benefit, it's going to be beneficial, or it's getting rid of something. But we think it's the worst thing in the world. What's the proof it's the worst thing in the world? It makes us mad. It's bad. Comes bad thing, right? Somebody that pushes us out of line or calls us a name, or we think somebody calls us a name, and we get angry. So that's bad that he called me a name. But on the other hand, if a person has a bigger mind, thinks, listen, God wanted this person to call me this name. And the reason is that maybe this person has a big problem. I should say, okay, maybe you're right, my friend. Okay, I'll try to fix myself. But the person will say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. You can never tell. When a person uses his hidden powers and uses this to make new ideas in the Torah. Now, this is especially talking about the Jews. But the non-Jews also have their 7 Noahide commandments, and they also can learn in the revealed Torah, especially not the Talmud, but that's what it's called. Lech lecha el eretz asher arecha emiti. Ukashem, it just like says that tzarech liot benogel limud Torah, just like learning the Torah. Kamoken, similarly, it has to be relevant to also the service of making pupils, kol lahakil kehillos b'Shabbos, to gather groups of people in Torah and teach them Torah. Shezit tzarech liot ba'ofen, has to be in a way of true walking, ofen shel chidush amiti. I know I was by the Kotel a few times. I don't go there very often, but there's some fellow that he makes classes by the Kotel. He learns Talmud. There's a regular Talmud class there. I saw there was like 50, 60, 100 people. Who knows, maybe more now. It's just beautiful. And all the other places, all the other synagogues, you can come in anytime you want to. There's regular classes. Kolomar, in other words, nosaf ala move on a pashut sin, in addition to the simple meaning, sha'alav tamid lahosif, that you always have to add on in kochos, in the number and in the quality, the quantity and the quality of the pupils, will always step back and not to just be satisfied by masha asa, what you did up to now. Afilu im kavarim mitalmidim harbi, even if you have hundreds, thousands of pupils. Nevertheless, Hari calls them on all the time, that you have the possibility. Lagia od Yehudi, to reach another Jew and another Jew, ad l'kol chugim to Israel, until you can reach every Jew in Israel. Shishtat for b'shirei Torah, that they should learn Torah. Allah lasot, so you can do this simply, umay kamashmun, obviously. And now we can do that. Now we have Zoom, we have this. There's the people that give classes on the Torah classes, thousands of people come. But Friday, and especially to Halavai, should be with our classes. And especially Tamid Nosafim, you can always add more Bari Mitzvah, Banos Mitzvah Chadashim. There's new Jews that come that grow up and they become able to understand. You can have an influence on them, that they should come to learn Torah. Similarly, regarding not just how much you learn or how many people you teach, but also the quality of what you teach, biyoter havana, and also the quality of their understanding of the Torah. More understanding and grasping and deeper understanding. Ad limud b'derech chadash, until you teach in a new way. Lif'ol sha'talmid, that the pupil should be talmid vatik, There should be an expert pupil, the Chadish b'Torah, and that pupil also should get new ideas in the Torah. Harigam ze lo chidush. It's not a novelty. Why? So I'll call echad yeshnu chiyuv. The pasha says because it says this is an obligation for everyone to increase learning Torah. True going. Lohi kasher, and true going in the Torah is when the pupil comes. I said this. Yes. We did this. 1 second. That's right. And when the pupil reveals new ideas and new powers and new, understanding that he didn't even know that he had before. We can move on, like it's understand that what is the test of all these is who atzmo sheken bigalal tirdos ba'od mitzvah or bigalal ahavas atzmo yochlim pamim lasot ta'ut eladavka adam sheni she'eno nogea b'davar. Take your ideas to other people and tell them what your ideas are and your understanding and see what the feedback is. Because a lot of times a person thinks, well, I'm the greatest in the world. There's nobody bigger, greater than me, right? So therefore, go to someone else and ask them, what do you think about this idea? Especially in our generation, like we said before, our generation especially. This is the last generation of exile and the first generation of the redemption. Nimsat bahadgasha yetera ha'avodah, the fact of the words, the service of lech lecha me'artzecha la'aretz ha'arabah. We are reaching the end of the journey. God is taking us to the land that He promised to show us, namely what a true, deep understanding of God, and that's what the Moshiach is going to do. That's what we're learning, the ideas of Mashiach. Bekinyan shall Eser Arot says, and then God will give us the other 10 lands. Harimuvan, so it's understood that it has to be lishtatev, lishtakev, lakol rosh. First of all, ba'avodah, ma'ayin zeh shel Yehudi. First of all, you have to do what the Jews say. I mean, let's take an example, a simple example, right? The whole thing depends. What the situation we're on now is the Israeli government just making a simple decision to get rid of our enemies. I've said this before, but the Rebbe said, as soon as our enemies know that we are really serious and we really intend to totally exterminate them, which is what they want to do to us. So, it's just showing them a mirror. You people, you like death, you like total destruction. Okay, we'll give you, that's what you want, that's what you'll get. As soon as they see that we're serious, then it could be, said the Rebbe, that they won't have to fire one shot, that they'll immediately surrender, there won't be any problem. The problem is that we have to be serious. And why aren't we serious? I mean, why not? We're so small. The Jewish people are so small, the whole world is against us. Come on, we can't stand against the whole world, right? Wrong. The reason we think about this is because we have a small mindset. We don't really connect to the reality of what we don't realize how much God loves us and how this is to the benefit of the whole world. Right? If we would just be strong, the whole world would benefit. All of these people that the Hamas and these people, these are not bad people in essence. In the beginning, when there was the Medina, before they came these ideas of making peace with the Arabs, there was peace. There was peace. Right? We were strong. We had our identity. We had our this. Right? At least we thought we did. There was a goal to take over the land. Here you get these people like Eric Sharon, right? When he was a general, he was wonderful. He had a clear goal to conquer, to save the Jewish people. That's what he did. As soon as he became Rosh Mimshalah, he had no goal anymore. What do you mean he had no goal? He's a Jew.
There were pogroms in the 20s.
What do you mean he has no goal? Of course he has a goal, but he just didn't realize it. As soon as everybody's mind opens up to how close God is to us and what potential we have, then that'll open up the potential of everyone in the world. But how do the Jews do it? The Jews are the ones that are supposed to start, that we're supposed to open the door by means of adding on and learning Torah. And not just according to his own understanding, but according to his, according to the three powers of intellect and essence, how we understand, how we can grasp, how we can connect to God. Especially by means of adding on not just regular Torah, but learning Pnimius of Torah, the ideas of Chassidut. That's what we do in Torah or Kollel, and especially when we're talking about avodas amochin, ideas and understanding, which we haven't been doing so much to tell you in our classes in the morning. It's been more practical, but we'll see. Kollel, and including Geula of Mashiach, especially learning about Mashiach. May it be God's will, Yehi Ratzon, that by means of adding on in service of Lech Lecha, that there will be immediately fulfilled simply a Lech Lecha me'artzecha, that we will go out of our old land, and all of the Jews will go out of lands wherever they are, and they'll go out of whatever mindsets that they're in, even if they happen to be physically in the land of Israel. They'll go out of their outside of Israel attitudes. The kabetz nidechenu, God will gather all the castaway Jews from the four corners of the world. Holchim kulam, they'll all go to the land I will show you. The arkol rachba, to its length and to its width, including the three lands, the Keni and the Kenizi and the Kadmoni, that God is going to give us, that will receive, says the Rebbe, in a way of peace from the non-nations. We won't have to conquer it with war. The non-Jews will gladly give it to us. If that's what it says in the Torah, then we'll give it to you. And if the Jews take over these countries, it doesn't mean everybody's going to have to leave. We're not the Hamas that we kill everybody that doesn't agree with us. The whole world will come to understand that God is creating them, that God loves them, and that God just chose the Jews to make sure that the world runs in a proper way. The way that God wants it to. Together with this, we have the completion of all of the 10 powers of our soul, the 7 emotions, the 3 powers of intellect, together, and this is the main thing, with the revelation of the new Torah that's going to come from God. We'll feel the Torah like we felt at Mount Sinai. That's coming directly from God, every word. But we'll be able to take it, not like in Mount Sinai, we weren't able to accept that. If it says everybody's souls jumped out of their bodies, Ada over and tilt away. That it spreads over the whole entire world. The world will be filled with the knowledge of God, like water fills the ocean. The Gam also, but almost Olam, also in the non-Jews, Loya as a Kala Olam, like the Maimonides says that the whole world will only be interested in knowing God alone. And that does not mean that everyone will stop working and stop having families, and everybody will just sit all day with like sort of glassy eyes, or walk around like zombies with their eyes shining or something like that. That's not what it means. It means that people will be more human, that people will be more involved in the world. There'll be more people in the world. And every person will show his uniqueness. Then that's what it means that God will be the ruler of the world. Similarly, in all the aspects of the world, not just in human, but also in the minerals and the plants, even the animals, like it was in Noah's Ark. Midgaleh will be revealed, Koach HaPol B'Nifal, there will be revealed the power of the Creator in the creation. Ad she'evan mikir Isaac, until it says that even a stone from the walls will call out. Where is this one thing? Habakkuk, prophet of Habakkuk. All the prophets are prophesying about Mashiach. Yes. Alderich says similarly, it says a ta'ena. It says that even the figs on the trees and the trees themselves, similarly to all the animals, they'll all recognize, like I said, in Noah's Ark and Daniel the lion's den, how much more so every human being. Yodeh kol pa'al alta palta. This is from our prayers in Rosh Hashanah. Every creation will know, God, that you are creating it. Every formation that you make, God, will know that you formed it. And everything that's alive, kol asher neshama bapo, everything that is alive, shekol olam, that the whole entire world will become a dwelling for God in the world. And we'll see that the world is being created by God every instant from nothing. The whole world is a big miracle. And also all the upper worlds, Bria, Yetzirah, Asiya, with all the angels and the souls, there will be revealed the world of Atzilut. From Loshan Etzlo V'Samach, the whole world will feel that it's near to God. La'atzmus, the essence of the Creator. And from Lech Lecha, this week's Torah portion will come to Vayera Alav Hashem, that God appeared, the next week's Torah portion. v'shleimot, a complete way, and the gula mitit v'shleim, and the complete redemption. That our eyes will see God, neshamas begufim, souls and bodies, but tachlis abriot, in the ultimate health, v'shleimot, and completion. And the main thing is, it should be tekef umiyad mamash. It should be immediate, right now. That's the Dvar Malchut of this week. Next week will be, of course, there were problems with the Arabs. Yes, of course, there were problems with the Arabs, but we never gave in to them. We never gave in to them. That you don't have to go to the Arabs. The whole world hated us, right? The Germans were the most, how do you say, cultured and intellectual, and how do you say, what's the word for it? Progressive people in the world, and they hated the Jews, right? Of course, there's always been Jew hatred, but we were never so stupid to give them. We had the land of Israel to give them. We had the land of Israel to give it away to them. It's a whole new level of insanity. And also, after the Holocaust, it became officially forbidden anti-Semitism. Right? You couldn't make a swastika anywhere. Now, no problem, right? No problem. Swastikas all over. And it's all caused by our own weakness. No way, I'm not trying to say that the murderers are not guilty, that we brought it out ourselves. They are just the arm of God. Never, don't think that. Not even for 1 second. These people all deserve to be killed. They all deserve to be murdered. Each and every one, the people who try to murder us, God will do to them what they tried and what they actually did do to us. There's no doubt about that. Eventually it'll be. They are guilty as guilty can be. Those that did. But on the other hand, the Rebbe said it's like a soldier that goes into battle without having a helmet on. It's not that he gets punished because he doesn't have a helmet. It's just that he leaves himself open. The same thing is we opened ourselves up. And we continue doing it. As God willing, we will stop seeing soon. And to give you a simple example, after the 6-day war, the whole world was quiet. The whole Arab world. Everyone was quiet. Everyone saw that God is with the Jews. Everybody. No one could open their mouths. No one had anything to say against the Jews. No one said, you are a conquering nation. You are this with it. No one. Everyone was in awe of the Jews, except for the Jews. Right? The Israeli government immediately announced it was a mistake. We didn't mean it. We're giving all the lands back. We're not a conquering nation. It was an accident. We didn't want to do it. We were forced to do it, and we'll never do it again. We promise next time we'll let them destroy us. I mean, almost that's what they said. But the fact is they gave away Jerusalem to them. The government did it. And they did it with ties on, and they were happy, and they got applauded. Okay, God willing, this will all come to an abrupt end with Moshiach now. Now let's see if we can do the, 1 second, let's stop doing this. I can't do this. For some reason, it doesn't stop. Okay.